So what is a one for all Ivara? You might think that this is a Hero Academia reference at first, but I'm sorry to disappoint. One for all means it's a build that can do it all. I have wasted lots of Forma on my regular Ivara, so I can give you a one Forma Prime version of her, that can do almost every mission in the game. So sit back, relax, and enjoy lads, as I educate you, how to fully enjoy Ivara Prime with just one Forma. To begin with, let me explain how I came up with a one Forma versatile build. It's really simple. All I needed to do is find out what are the most important abilities of Ivara. After countless times of using this huntress, I honestly can say that Ivara's prowl is her bread and butter, the source of her survivability, and as well as damage due to stealth multiplier. The other abilities are complementary, and makes her very versatile. To make prowl efficient, we need some duration, efficiency, and energy. Most of these mods have dash polarity, and since Ivara Prime have built-in D, V, and 1 dash polarity, we only need to put one Forma for another dash polarity to complete our one for all Ivara Prime. Okay, now let's get to the builds. The first stop is a build meant for exterminate, focus farming, and melee Ivara Prime. This is the old school Ivara which uses her prowl for infinite invisibility, and her quiver ability. Most of the time, you will be casting your sleep arrow so that you can finish unknowing enemies with a dagger. Now I did not add overextended on this build, like most people do, since it will just lower the loot percentage of prowl. The range is sufficient to put a crowd of enemies to sleep, get some additional loot like energy orbs, and kill them with your dagger. It's also good in exterminate missions like the one in Sedna called Adaro, as you can easily farm focus with this build. However, expect it to be a slower pace compared to the top dog in this mission, which is Night Equinox. Last but not least, a dagger is not the only one worth using for this build. Any melee weapon can be used. For example, there are certain stance in the game that allows you to negate that slow mobility when you are at prowl. Stance like the Final Harbinger has combos that let have some decent forward movement. Also, gun blades are pretty good with this build, as prowl doesn't break when you shoot these melee weapons. Redeemer Prime is one of those gun blades, but there's a very special build for this melee weapon which we will talk about later. For now, let's proceed to Spy Ivara. The build for an ultimate Spy Ivara is pretty simple. The previous build would suffice, but we need to replace some mods to make it perfect. Just remove all the range mods from the previous build, and then add the Infiltrate Augment, plus a couple of Power Strength mods. Strength mods that give some movement speed bonus to prowl while you have the Infiltrate Augment by the way. Honestly, Ivara is the best when it comes to spy missions. She can easily cheese every possible spy missions in the game, because of her Infiltrate Augment, which makes this frame not be affected by laser barriers, sensor bars, laser plates, or cutting lasers. Just a bonus tip though, always bring some energy pizza, as you will need that to stay invisible for the rest of the mission, without even killing any enemies. Now let's move on to the Eidolon Hunting build. The idea of an Eidolon Hunting build is to have as much efficiency and power strength on your Ivara. We will be using her navigator for this setup. There are a couple of weapons that can be an effective Eidolon Hunter with Ivara, but the most powerful are the Glaives and Sancti Castanas. I have covered how to one-shot an Eidolon with Sancti Castanas in the past, and I will leave the link to the video on the description below. For the Glaive, I will be doing an updated video about that, covering how you can go Eidolon hunting with this weapon. Before we proceed to the next build, here's a little safety reminder. You all know that Ivara is one of those out of the meta Eidolon hunter, and she certainly has some weakness. The most problematic part of using her in Eidolon hunt is her survivability. If you want to go solo, you should probably have enough knowledge about how to dodge all of the Eidolon's attack, or you will end up being pissed off using her. A good starting point for Eidolon hunting with Ivara is going with a team that has survivability buffing frames. That way, you can just focus on being the DPS, and not worry about being killed. Okay, now let's proceed to the next one, which I call the Arachnid Huntress. I call this mod setup this way because it resembles you being a spider hunting for her prey. You will take advantage of Ivara's empowering quiver augment, to maximize the potential of her dash wire arrow. It's really simple actually. You just need to be on your dash wire to get that critical damage bonus, and just murder the enemies with your red crit weapons. There are lots of red crit weapons you can choose from, but I advise you to start with the Redeemer Prime. Guns are a fun option, But if you want to go killing high-level enemies, then look no further and try out this gun blade. I have recently put up a video about this and you can watch it later. The link is in the video description below. The next build is pretty helpful, especially if you are crazy about farming Axxi relics. Why I don't farm other relics anymore is because it's easier for me to farm Axxi relics with Ivara in Xinion Eris. The node is an interception mission and you might wonder, why the heck would I bring a stealth frame in an interception mission? The answer is on her noise arrow. With lots of range, and then paired with efficiency, you will be able to spam noise arrow until the enemies become docile and will not even bother to do anything. The trick on using Ivara on interception mission is using your prowl to stay invisible, spam your noise arrow while capturing all areas. Don't kill enemies all enemies, and when you hit that 100% mark, just go kill them all. Rinse and repeat. This does not only work on Xinion, but it also works on other interception missions. So, if you got some time to try Ivara on interception, now is the right time with her prime version. The next build is a nuke build, which takes advantage of her concentrated arrow augment. For this build, you need a lot of range and efficiency, so you can stay invisible with your prowl, and use your Artemis prime bow. With concentrated arrow, you need to do to headshot an enemy so both the critical chance and explosion will proc, resulting in some good nuking fun. However, building for range and efficiency won't be enough. We need to have the right mods on our Artemis prime to make the nuking more efficient. In this case, I'm packing this prime bow with lots of critical, and the hunter munitions mod. This mod will often proc not just on a target, but the other enemies affected by the explosion, which results in them to bleed out to death. However, this build is meant for fun use against mid-level enemies, and is not that good against high-level enemies. The bleed proc is not that reliable and in fact, a build without the concentrated arrow augment is far better when it comes to killing high-level enemies. To achieve an Artemis Prime-based build, we simply add a balanced efficiency, duration, and power strength build on our Ivara. Power strength doesn't need to be very high, since the hunter munitions mod will proc every time you hit an enemy. Why? It's because Artemis bow does shoot many arrows, and each arrow has a chance to crit and proc the hunter munitions effect. Although you won't nuke a room with this build, it will surely kill even the most bullet sponge enemies in the game. So that's it lads. In just one Forma, you can do all these stuff with your Ivara Prime. Now have fun with your Jellyfish Prime. But before you go, here's an early treat for you lads. I'm giving away one Ivara Prime access pack. These includes Ivara Prime, the new Prime weapons, the accessories, and as well as some juicy platinum. To enter, simply comment below on how do you usually play Ivara, and why you love playing her. I will announce the winner on weekend, so don't forget to keep your eyes peeled on this channel. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.
Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out.